start seeing the window now. It's always good to do that window early, because then you could see where you are and you get access to the other side, because without this window, it's impossible. Yeah, this is really the most important step of your lothrop. You have to open the window first. So I'm just looking from the other side, just seeing my window. It's there. So it is connecting. So just remove all the hard tissue, the bony tissue. And when it's complete, when you can see both middle turbinate, which we don't have, but we'll do something else, then you know you've opened a nice window that's sufficient for you to work from both sides. So we can start, we're looking at the other side, but we still can't see where the frontal recess is, but we will see in a minute. We'll have to enlarge a bit more. So let's have a backbiter. Now this perforation is quite high and it's quite posterior. See, you can't see it when you look straight in the nose. You have to look up. So it's away from the air current. So it doesn't tend to crust or cause problems with the airway. So it is okay. It's just bony here. Okay, let's give you that again. So a bit more to remove. Let's have it again. See, it's all bony there. Here it is. And suction. Just trim a bit of mucosa just to get a bit more space from that window. So I've removed a lot of the bone now. So just don't stop making the window until you make sure it's big enough. So you just have to keep checking it until you know that you can see everything. I can start seeing both sides, as you can see there. So just clear all this. Until you reach right up in the floor of the sinus, which is about here. So it's still a bit of cartilage to remove here. So if we start looking, we can actually see from both sides now. It's something that looks more useful for us. Let's just remove this bit of cartilage here. Let's have the Blakesley, straight Blakesley. And the septum now is going out of our way a little bit. So let's keep this bit just in case. So this seemed to be a bit cartilage here. It's a bit better. Or is it bone? I think it's still bone. Yeah. So this is our window coming nicely. I think it's almost there. We will clean everything in a minute and show you a bit more, but let's just get all the bits out. Let's have the debrider. Just to clear everything, because all the area that you want to clear is where you're going to create that drilling. I mean, you could almost see where the lothrop is going to be. You're going to start in the frontal ethmoidal recess like this, drill this, which is the floor of the sinus, and then join it to the other side. So you see how everything is very inflamed here, not very friendly. The polypoid here, but we're probably not going to remove a lot in this area. So I think it's almost enough. Okay, so let's have a look with the navigation now. So we're looking at frontal sinus in this side, here, and that's the beak. This is the beak here. There. If you put the navigation in the middle here, that's like the floor of the sinus and the intersinus septum. So we want to drill that way, forward like this, and then like this, and then like this, connect to find this one. And this one is here as well. So we sort of found it as well. But obviously you see how horribly inflamed and bloody and everything. It's not the usual nice one that you want to do, but we're doing it for you. Can I have the backbiter? So I'm removing a little bit of that cartilage in the bottom because you don't like to have a lot of exposed cartilage. So, and I say again, without navigation, it will be harder. Navigation is very useful to confirm where you are, just to find out and confirm where you are. So just remove this piece of cartilage so we don't have exposed cartilage anymore. And that makes your window big enough. A window that is not big enough will lead to closure or stenosis of the Lothrop, and will crust and will annoy you so much. Will be on your way. Okay, let's have a irrigation now. Can I just have a 45 Blixley for a second? Just remove this bit here.
Hisham, if that is all right, Dr. Satish is just explaining about his case, so we'll briefly visit him and come back by the time we prepare for that.
Huh?
Hesham, we're just going to go to India for their case introduction, then we'll come back and join you.
Okay, Doc.
Thanks.
Are we off?
Yeah, shall we connect to Nagpur, please?
Horrible case.
Yeah, you're still on, Hisham.
Where is Priscilla? This is horrible.
We can still hear you, Hesham.
Yeah, we're almost there anyway. We're going to finish.
Okay, studio, can I connect to Nagpur, please? Hello, Dr. Satish.
So what I'm going to show is, for the sake of demonstration here, we'll remove this and we'll be using pre-lacrimal approach to marsupialize this region. Okay.
Yeah.
Pre-lacrimal means our access would be anterior to the lacrimal system without damaging it. There are two approaches. One is the modified denture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dr. Satish, we're back joining you for the case review. So, would you mind just briefly reviewing the case for us?
Hello.
Yes, yes, Satish. Can we switch off Devan's mic, please?
By showing you what we were discussing is one is modified dentures, in which we remove the entire medial wall, cut the nasolacrimal duct shaft, and marsupialize the entire maxillary sinus into nasal cavity or medial line. And that gives you opportunity for the lifetime surveillance as well.
Yes.
Here, this kind of a cyst, if you really want to marsupialize, what we can do is pre-lacrimal approach. Pre-lacrimal is open the anterolateral wall anterior to the lacrimal system.
Yes.
The flap,
Yeah.
marsupialize,
Yeah.
and then close it with suture.
Okay.
Mucosal surface. So, close it doesn't leave an open cavity. Doesn't give any opportunity to surveillance. The benign thing doesn't need any surveillance after a full marsupialization. We can upload this particular situation. We'll be doing pre-lacrimal access for this. We'll remove this anthroponal polyp and lacrimal access for this.
Okay. Can you have access to the inferior meatus in this case?
Access to meatus can be done. That is a narrow access, number one.
Okay.
And if you try to enlarge it, end up damaging the ventilation.
Okay.
There will be more anterolateral, more wider approach, and we close it. We don't want inferior meatal approach gives a drainage for the future, which we don't need here.
Yeah.
Choose mass stabilization of the intestines. It doesn't need any future follow-up activity.
Okay.
I'll show you.
Sure.
And probably are struggling to connect to Nagpur. So shall I get back to studio briefly? Okay, I think what I gathered from the CT that this is a unilateral disease. In the left side, you can see probably there is a large anteconal polyp with some cyst. So they were discussing about modified Denker's approach. But for plan for this case is a pre-lacrimal approach to deal with it. So while they're connecting and starting, we can get back to Hisham for his lockup and catch up with it. So over to London again. We'll keep an eye on when they start surgery. We may join them briefly. Thank you.
We know the world we live in changes drastically, faster than ever before. We are aware of the threat of the environmental crisis as well as the social inflection. Priorities and consumer values change radically. We have reacted. We have initiated major changes already, with many more ahead. Not to survive, but to keep our business ahead in this disruptive world. We have pulled the switch to green power. We have already significantly reduced our global carbon footprint. And we will continue to do so. With energy targets clearly defined, our monitoring systems perfectly control and enhance our...
Let's connect to London, they're back.
Bit funny. I think it's not accurate.
Okay,
Hisham, we're back to
Hesham,
you.
we're back with you. We can see what you're doing now. We were just in Jaipur and they're about to do a pre-lacrimal approach for maxillary sinus. So they were showing us their scans, but we're now back with the modified Lothrop.
Function.
So it looks like you've got the frontal sinus ostium there. Is that right?
Yeah. So So I'm here. I'm looking now on the left
Yeah.
front of the recess. A bit
Yeah.
larger. So what I'm going to go forward.
Yeah.
Until I reach the intersinus septum, which will be about here, and then I'm going to go to the right frontal sinus to join them together. So
Right.
looking here underneath, they have a suction frontal sinus. So I put the
Hisham, have
suction.
you got the frontal recess on the right side yet, or you're just going to
Yeah, well, it's
go
here.
to it through the left, from the left?
There, but it's not as well defined. So it's not as well defined
Okay,
as
yeah.
the left side. Sorry. So it's just there. It's a bit tight here. So because of this, I'm just going to start on the left. It will be easier to do.
And
That's-
Hesham, just out of interest, what angle scope are you using at the moment? You still on a 0? Have you switched to a 30 or 45?
I'll switch to a 45 soon, but not yet.
Okay.
Let's have an approach. I'm going to show you. if we can see the navigation. So here, it's not very accurate now. I should be pointing to the frontal beak about there. Let's test it. Stopped working, sorry. No, it's not working anymore. Now look, it's a bit off. But off now. So we need to readjust. Let's have the, so I'm gonna open further. So now I'm using both nostrils. So my scope is in the right nostril and my debrider is in the left one. So I can basically open things a bit further here. Let's have a Blakesley 45 degrees. Suction. Debrider. Seems to be a cell. And I have a frontal sinus seeker. And suction. Okay, let's have a Blakesley 45.
Not uncommon entities. Still not
So I've enlarged the frontal sinus from right inside now. Maybe I can now change the 45 so I can show you the cavity. I'm going to change to 45 degrees. I can show you inside the frontal sinus. And then I'll start drilling. Oops. Wide balance. Right, so let's have suction now. You don't have the other frontal sinus sucker that goes like, the light goes from the side. It'd be easier in the scope. I mean. Yeah, the scope. So look at the frontal sinus inside, yeah? Look at all this polypoid tissue here. So in a minute now, I'm gonna start drilling. So in a minute, I'm gonna change into my Midas drill, which is a faster drill. So just remove that polypoid tissue here.
Is that the 40-degree debrider there, or 60?
Yeah. So here we are. This is the cavity of the frontal sinus. This is right up there. And you can almost see that we're not very far from the anterior wall. So let's have the Midas. So I'm going to use a drill. The faster drill, the Midas drill. We need to change it there.
And what sort of burr do you use on the drill, Hashem? Do you use a diamond or a cutting, and what size? Cutting.
Okay.
4 millimeter cutting.
Okay.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, perfect. Let's have the suction. So this is very fast drill, so you have to be very careful with it. So don't start with a maximum speed. And the problem with these, you don't have suction, but they have irrigation. So let's see if the irrigation is working. Oh, yeah.
For the trainees who are watching, I would suggest if you're in the initial stages, use a diamond because it's there's a bit of a margin of error for that. cutting is okay for experienced surgeons like Hisham. But do use cutting if you got enough wide space.
Nothing.
But for a narrow recess like this, for surgeons in the initial stages, the diamond will be a better drill. You agree, Hisham?
Okay. So this is a very fast drill, so you have to be careful. So just actually, it's too much irrigation here, so let's just decrease it a bit. So see, I'm not going full speed. I'm just gauging my speed first, just drilling forward. And if you see what I'm doing, I have my scope in the right nostril and the drill in the left. And then we can swap again. This is bringing my opening forward. So I'm drilling the frontal beak now. And I have my suction in the other nostril. I just leave it there. Nobody's holding it. Because otherwise it's too much irrigation anyway. So now I'm putting both of them on one side.
See how carefully is working just on the beak and avoiding any contact with the posterior wall.
Just the frontal beak.
You're feeling the ridge and flattening it down. Just like we drill the master ventrum.
So here we are. So we're already opening widely in the frontal sinus. We need to drill here laterally so we get to the subcutaneous tissue or the skin, like PJ1 will say. So this area here laterally. So I'm going to get this. So you need the widest possible rostrum or opening. So just clearing this soft tissue from it. And I'm not pressing full speed. With this full speed, the drill will just go too quickly for you. So if you're not sure, use a diamond burr. I like using the cutting burr. I can control the speed like a car. Just press a little bit and you don't go full speed. So we started to see more into the frontal sinus. And when you see the frontal wall, then you know you reached your level. I can see it already. Look at that. So it means we can go toward the right side in a minute, but I'm going to just drill laterally first. That bone on the lateral wall there, I need to thin it a bit more here, a little bit here. And if you think about where this bone is, it's just underneath the nasal bone. So if I put your navigation, this, I don't know if it's accurate enough, but okay, so it's just roughly there. Yeah, maybe it's okay now. Or is this not moving? No, look at it. So it's not accurate. It needs to be registered. So maybe we'll just re-register it. Let's do it. We're just doing a navigation again so I can show you. Okay.
So that's the infrared navigation you're using there, Hesham, is it? With the surface matching rather than it being magnetic one?
That's right, yeah. I always use surface marking. It's quicker. The electromagnetic may be a bit accurate, but it's had a lot of wires and cables and takes a long time to register. So I've always preferred that. Check landmark. Can I check? Is good? Yeah, it's good now. So we'll now have a look with the navigation to show you.
I guess it shows that you can't just rely on your navigation. You have to keep checking all the time.
And that's, if I didn't know where I was, I said, oh yeah, here we are, and go for it. But obviously, I
Yeah.
knew it was. So if I go where that bone I wanted to drill, just about here. So see where it's pointing? It's inside the frontal sinus, but also, I'm just going to put it from the other side to show you better. So here is the navigator. So that's the bone I want to drill here, laterally. It should be under the nasal bones. Yeah, see the nasal bone is just underneath it. That's where it is, although it's not moving. So that's where we're drilling. It's a bit lateral, but that's gonna get. Let's try again. Yeah, let's try inside. Still not perfectly accurate. So, but we know where we are. So let's have a drill. So we'll go and drill a bit more here. Can I have some more anti-fog, please? Anti-fog. And let's check if we've reached the skin yet. Not yet. So I'm pushing in the skin from outside to see if it's moving, but not yet. You always move with this drill. Don't put it in one point and just drill because it will just create a deep. Now we've reached the skin. I could see it here. When I'm pushing, it's a little bit of movement. It's not very obvious yet, so we'll do a bit more. Why do I do this? Why do I have to reach the skin or the subcutaneous tissue? Then you know there's no bone there to grow back. That's the idea. And then also it indicates that there's no more you could drill. Yeah, it's quite thick, so we're doing it gently just to make sure we're not doing too much. Okay, more. In the scope. So we have a big opening here. I'm just going to show you the other side, then we'll go back to this. So let's see if we're going to go to the other side now. So we know that the other side is just going to be somewhere here, somewhere there. The other frontal sinus is just here. So we could just go from here and drill again and back there, forward like this, and then join them, or you can go from left to right. Let's have the navigation probe for a second. So we show you this. This is the frontal sinus on the right side. Yeah. Not accurate, but it is. Let's have the curette. So we could just bring this bone a bit forward here. Let's have the Blakesley 45. And suction. So it's a bit tighter in this side, the frontal sinus, but the bone is not very thick. So you can just remove it a little bit like this. So let's have again the 45 Blakesley. So we're already seeing into the frontal sinus, already starting to make that shape of a Lothrop procedure, which is connecting these two sinuses together, basically. So it feels a bit tight. If you look at the scan, there was actually like another bar there, or another like wall. Let me have a navigation, I'll show you. So maybe that's what I'm hitting here. Somewhere there, but I'm gonna come that side now. I'm gonna drill this way to here. So if I'm putting this is the thick bone of the middle septum or the sinus septum here. I'm gonna go through it. So I have the suction, so all the secretion will be sucked out. I'm trying to shake the blood out, but sometimes it doesn't come out. Sometimes I use the sheath, which is the endoscrop. Sometimes I only use it actually for Lothrops. I don't use it for anything else. But we haven't used it today, so because with Lothrop you're working from below, so you're actually underneath the drill. So that's why you get a lot of things, blood and so on, that comes in your affect your endoscope. So we can start seeing more and more on the other side now. So I lift my sucker there, just staying there. Yeah, so one day they'll be invented one of these fast drills with suction as well. If you saw the scan as well, the left side, the sinus is bigger. So can we see the intersinus septum? So let's have a look inside now. So we're just below it here, look, that's it. So we'll continue drilling. I'm just gonna point it here. We put this here. So I'm in the intersinus septum, see exactly where I am now. Okay, so I'll see the right sinus is much smaller than the left one. So let's open that now, continue with the drill. So that's where endoscrub would have been useful here, but we're okay. No, I can't put it on now, doesn't it? Just this bit when I'm below the drill anyway. Suction. So thin bone here, so I'm just going to remove a bit more. Let's have the Blakeslee, so 45. I'm trying to see if I'm close to the right side, if I can connect them easier from the right to left, or just continue as I am. Suction again.
Test bed, you could try some of the electronic birds. They have suction.
Okay, well,
But
I was
it's only
thinking
like only 30 tables.
no, I'm gonna have to mix it here.
Yes.
Yeah, well, soon we'll use the, after I do this bit, we'll use the finesse guard. So I'm almost there now. Because this bone, see how thick is this? Use the other ones, you take forever. Yeah, so that's good. We're almost there. So suction. So soon when I reach the other one, because this bone is so thick, I could use the other drills. This is the right side. I could use the other drills, which is a bit slower, but because the bone is so thick, I prefer to use this faster drill. When I completely open this, then I'll refine things with the finesse burr, which is the one that connects to the normal debrider and has suction in it. Here we are. So now we've got connection. So let's have suction. So see that other septum here. The sinus had two septums, this one and this one. You can see that in the scan. So obviously we'll bring this down as well soon, but this is the intersinus septum. This is another septum into the frontal spine. So let's drill that one, finish it first. Okay, so let's get ready with the finesse because now I'm opening here. So now I have a big opening, but I need to enlarge it more. So let me show you first, and then we'll change burrs now. So
for some of the people just tuning in, can you just go through where your landmarks are now and show people the posterior table, anterior table, and lateral walls so they can see what's going on.
Okay, great. So this is through my septal window now.
Yeah.
Here is the left frontal sinus. This is the posterior wall of the frontal sinus, and this is the roof, and the anterior wall is here. And this is the intersinus, or what's left of it. And this is the right frontal sinus here. It has a laminated wall here, another wall there, just like a small one here, there. So that's the rest of the cavity of the frontal sinus on the right side. And this is the posterior wall here. And anterior wall is just, we can't see it yet. So I'm going to remove this, and it will be into the frontal sinus. This here, part of the posterior wall, which we're going to drill down, because we want to reach the anterior, the most anterior olfactory nerve, which is going to be about here. Here.
Yeah.
This is, and the nerve. See there? That's coming through a small cavity here. This one there.
Yeah,
So
that's nice.
So we can drill this bit, this bit as well. So I'm gonna drill this bit more first on the right side, open it further. Yeah. And then
Thank you.
we'll change into the other drill now. Is it? No, it's not changing. You have to spray, somebody has to press this. We'll just change the drills now. No, it should be 12 or 30,000. We need a drill. So I'll press from here. We'll try from here. Yeah, put up, put 30. Perfect. So we've got the drill now. So this is the curved one. So this is 40 degrees. This one obviously just connects to the normal debrider, so it has suction in it. And like I said, I could drill a little bit here as well. Can we decrease the irrigation a little bit? No, down. Yeah. Maybe a bit more suction. So you can see now, this is nicely open in the left. We need to open the right side a bit more. We'll just continue with it. So if you look from here, let's have a drill. So again, my camera is still on the left, on the right nostril, sorry, and my drill is on the left side. You always have to be careful when you drill this. I'm not pulling on full speed. Remember I said the first olfactory nerve is just there. So we're just anterior to it. And that's again the intersinus septum. We'll drill it a little bit more. And I showed you earlier, there's like a lamella here. Gently take it off as well. So the idea is to create a very large stoma, basically, as large as possible. And then we're going to reach the skin subcutaneously, both sides. I'm going to now put my scope in the left nostril so I can drill more onto that right side, so I can see a little bit more into it. See how smaller the right sinus compared to the left one? Because the intersinus septum is toward the right side. You can see the intersinus septum, and you can see where the right sinus is. So we need to drill a bit more here. So let's have a drill. Getting there nicely now. So we're almost opened the whole thing, but not yet. You need to get the maximum opening. Suction. So every now and then we check. So I need to drill a bit more here. Okay, drill. So I'm now putting my drill into the right nostril. This is unusual. Don't always have to do that. While my endoscope is in the left nostril. Just to drill anteriorly. So the whole purpose, as I said earlier again, just creating the largest possible hole. So let's check this. Should I smile? Excellent. See, now we almost have symmetric holes. But remember, obviously, the size of the sinus itself is asymmetric anyway.
Hesham, do you notice a difference between the previous 12K drills and the new 30Ks that you're using for the finesse?
Definitely, much better. The finesse obviously is much slower, but it's good. It's comparing to the 4K drills that we used to have. This is much faster, double the speed, more than double the speed. So it's a lot faster. So it is much more quick, really. Can I have the Blakesley? I'm going to remove that bit of mucosa here.
Okay.
45. Yeah, it's a lot faster. Take this.
Hisham, that was a great cavity. So in the meantime, can we just check on Nagpur whether they're doing a modified Denkers? So we just catch up with them and be back.
So let's have the drill again.
Hesham, we're just switching to India, okay? So we'll be back with you in a minute.
Next 10 minutes or so.
Bye.
Hello, Dr. Satish. So we were back to you. So can you just take us through the case that you just completed? Looks like they are nearly finishing that with the modified Denkers.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like they're just closing the flap
Thank you
again.
so much, Satish Jain,
Thank you,
sir.
Satish.
Was,
Wonderful demonstration throughout the day.
Sir, thank you for your time, your attention,
So
and obviously,
we'll-
thanks for
Dr.
involving
Satish.
me for this.
It's always
prestigious
pleasure to
event.
have you in Nagpur, and we'll meet personally at the banquet now. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
thank you, sir.
See
May I
this one stitch? Put one more.
May I request Nandu sir to please step forward to felicitate our moderators, Dr. R.B. Deshmukh sir. So President Eva is coming to
Okay.
you to felicitate you.
I think, sorry, we probably missed the case. They're just about finishing.
After an
So
exhaustive
join back to
session.
London, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Dr. V.P. Nikhar.
There we are. We can hear you now. That's a really nice wide opening there.
Everything. Now we got the big space here. So that intersinus septum that was here, I lowered it as well. The other one there. So that's all. This is the right frontal sinus now. It's all open. I think that's my limit for posteriorly as well.
Yeah. It's
So-
very asymmetrical, much bigger on the left than the right, those frontal sinuses, aren't they?
Just a little bit of cleaning here, and then I am gonna put the mucosal flaps, and then I'm gonna cover them with the Propel. Let's have the 45 Blakesley. Piece of bone here. Here on. Here. Okay. So here we go now. So this is the cavity. Let's wash it. Before that, I'm just gonna trim this bone. You can't leave bone exposed like this. So can I have the chomper? Just trim that piece of bone. Okay, let's have some irrigation now. And suction in the nose. Another one. Oops. It's blocked, I think. Yeah, it's a bit blocked. It's okay now. Okay, so let's have a look. But just clean it first. I will probably need your suction again, that one we have. So I just cleaned it, wash it out completely, making sure there's no bits swimming around. Oh, it looks fine. Take them out. All these little bits of bone and cartilage or whatever. All the bone is covered. bits of blood clots here, just clean them out. All the bone dust, you don't want it to be there, obviously, because it will get infected and cause you problems. So we try to put some mucosa on the exposed bone now. So this bits of mucosa, I'll try to put them here. So let's have the mucosa. So that big piece of mucosa that I had with the Blakeslee 45. And we'll try to put it in the anterior wall. And then I need the propel to open the propel. So we'll go like that. Put this here and then try to move around. So let's have the freers. So if it doesn't stick, then don't do it, because otherwise you block your, because it's quite edematous actually. So we'll try to cover this. The surface is that one, like this. Cover that bone here. Now, can I have the frontal sinus curette? So we'll push it like this. Like that. So you're depending on surface tension here that will keep it stuck to the bone there. It is obviously thick, but we'll see. Maybe we can squeeze it in a bit. Yeah, that's not bad. Like this, we're going to try to open it with the propel as well. Let's have the seeker. Let's have the seeker. The small one, yeah. And then see if we adjust a little bit more. It's very, very thick mucosa, which is in a way good, but also bad because it can narrow things for you. You don't want that. But really, the mucosa, if you manage to get like grafts like this, it will decrease your osteitis and you get less of narrowing from the bone. So let's see if we can stick this like this. Yeah, so it's a pre-mucosal graft. Oops. That's okay. Let's have the freer. So it's sitting like this. I'm going to push it up, hopefully with the propel. We'll see. Seeker again. The propel obviously will decrease the edema because it decreases steroid. So let's have it. So here is the propel, this is the introducer. Put it there and just opens up. So let's see if it can just go. So I don't have a propel contour. So this is not the specific frontal sinus one. So we'll just use this one anyway. Just put it there where that graft is. See what happens. We'll push it right up and stays there, and we'll hopefully keep our graft stuck. It does that. So we can push it a bit. Can I have the seeker? It's good. I think it's working. It's holding it in place. Can we have a picture? Yeah, so it's holding our graft in place. Thank you very much. So it should be okay. Yeah, this graft will obviously shrink. This will keep secreting steroid mometasone for a month. So decrease the edema, hopefully decrease the osteitis and swelling and everything else. So that's it, done.
That looks great. Thank you very much, Hesham. They got a tricky case lined up for you today.
So luckily we managed now, so I think it's okay. Thank you very much.
It looks really good. No, excellent. Thank you. That looks really nice. Nice to see the propel in action.
Yeah, it's great. Well, one more case to go.
Good.
Yeah.